Roger Gray, hopefully online, the Chief Executive for Ports of Auckland, and just as Roger's getting himself ready there, I certainly would like to congratulate Roger and the team down at the Ports of Auckland. They won in June, I think it was, a collaboration award at the Safeguard New Zealand Workplace Health and Safety Awards, and that's for collaboration between Ports of Auckland, the Maritime Union and stevedore companies. I think of the rather different council meetings that were being occurred in the last term of council. That's really gratifying to see our port picking up those awards after events of the previous term. So hopefully Roger's there, and over to you, Roger, if you are.
Thank you, Chair. Can you all hear me okay?
We can.
Okay, great. Thanks, everybody. I just wanted to give you a quick update on the Seabulk electric barge proposal that was brought to you at the last meeting, and the work that we've been doing along with Seabulk on that. I met with Mr. Peter Dunlop and Simon Jones earlier this week, and we will work with them now to develop up a detailed business case in regards to this operation options. What I will say is they did ask if the port was interested in being involved in a joint venture. We are not. We are agnostic to the modes of transport that come and go from the port. But we will be providing them with the information they need for a detailed business case. What I would say is that this will have substantial capital investment requirements. We expect within the vicinity of about $50 million for building ramps at both ends. It would require the utilisation of 19 hectares of land at Wiri, of which you own. That infrastructure would involve terminal areas, ramps, dredging, bridge upgrades and fendering, etc. If council fund that, that's fine. If Ports of Auckland are required to fund it, we would do so, but we would be seeking a return from the operator in the vicinity of $4 to $5 million a year, and also guarantees that we're not left with a stranded asset later if this business was not to stay viable. We will need to do some modelling with Seabulk on whether the 19 hectares of land that you own there is sufficient for the operation, but we think it most likely is. Discussing with Mr. Dunlop and Mr. Jones, they are planning on the premise that this service will be subsidised. It will not be commercially viable in their mind in comparison to road transport. And just to give you a heads up, I expect that they'll be seeking subsidies either from Auckland Transport, yourself, or central government or Waka Kotahi in order to make this operation commercially competitive. What I would say is the port is not in a position where we can direct importers and exporters and cargo owners to use specific modes of transport. That is their choice, and this business would need to stand commercially on its own and be competitive versus road. Just to give you an update on rail, because I know this is a relatively contentious topic within the council, we are seeing rail usage by cargo owners declining. This is largely off the back of road transport being extremely cheap right now. There's an excess supply of road transport, so we're seeing the use of that increasing and rail patronage dropping. It's also off the back of Kiwi Rail starting to move through and lift prices through the network for rail. One thing which I don't think we've been transparent with council before about is that the port actually subsidises the rail link to Wiri by $5 million a year. As part of our work to achieve the return on assets that you require us to do and the requirements you've laid out in the SCI, over the next year or two, we'll start unwinding that $5 million subsidy, and we'll be doing that through the impost of rail access charges for people who want to use the rail. I expect that will see further declining rail usage off the back of also substantial expected further cost increases from Kiwi Rail. in the spirit of transparency, if council wish to see rail patronage increase, then we will come to you as our owner to seek either a transparent subsidy of that process or an agreement to discount your dividend by the amount that you want to subsidise the process. But rather than go into that specifically today, I thought we would leave that issue to discuss at the CCO deep dive, which we've got scheduled later this year. That concludes my update. I'm happy to take any questions, Chair.
Thank you very much, Roger. And members will recall that we had a presentation in public input from Seabolt, which you know, on the face of it seemed certainly an exciting prospect of getting perhaps up to 50% of the trucks off the road through this proposal to use an electric barge to barge you know, cargo and cars up the Tamaki River. Certainly, there was a follow-up with Roger to look at the specifics of that, both from the proponents and also from myself and Councillor Lee. I would just say that certainly the Ports of Auckland, through the Chief Executive Officer, proven to be very helpful, very open, and certainly looked at the specifics of what that would actually involve, both in terms of cost and work to be done. So if there's any questions that you'd like to follow up with Roger, now there's an opportunity. Councillor Walker?
I've just got a quick question, and really that's around the imperative of foresighting and backcasting around technological changes such as full self-drive, which effectively means that the sophisticated electric vehicles will be able to move themselves from the port to wherever they need to go. And this kind of development is imminent. Similarly, the advent of electric trucks that are in production, whereby the cost per kilometre is progressively decreasing relative to internal combustion. So I just want to raise those issues because they all go to investment decisions that are medium to long term that are at odds with technological developments. So are they things that the port is maintaining some brief over, Roger?
Yep, we are. I've been in discussion with the road transport industry about electric vehicles coming into the market. We have already some empty container vehicles moving empty containers on electric trucks. There's about 2 operating right now within coming and visiting the port, and certainly we'll keep an eye on it. I think, Councillor Walker, what you're actually suggesting is that this electric barge solution might actually have a finite life when you look at that long term of self-driving vehicles and the use of electric vehicles. So, I mean, that'll have to be something that Seabolt weigh up in their investment and whether or not they can remain competitive given that technology advance is approaching.
Thank you. Is there any questions from any of the councillors online? No, okay. So it just remains for me to thank you, Roger. We certainly look forward to the more substantive examination of the port's activities in the CCO committee, but thank you in particular for your work with Seabolt. That's been a much appreciated response to a public input item that in turn had quite a degree of preparation and research and substance to it in itself. So thank you for bringing us up to date today in terms of the port's view of that and the ongoing communications with Seabolt itself. So Councillor Walker has moved the update. Councillor Darby has seconded it. All those in favour? Against? Okay, carried. So we'll just break for half an hour for lunch now, folks. So Duncan, at what time do you want us back?
1:30, please.
1:30, and hopefully we'll get through the business reasonably expeditiously in the afternoon, given what's coming later on today.
Sharing.
Okay, thank you.